Welcome to the Upper Chicken.
No, kitchen.
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 Sorry.
That is definitely going in the video.
Welcome to the Upper Kitchen.
Jose, what are you doing?
Oh no.
You're supposed to be waiting for me. Hola Farmsteaders.
Hola.
We are Mac.
And Jose.
And we are the Upper Farmstead. Jose, what are we doing today?
Today is good day for make bread.
It is a good day for making bread. It is snowing outside.
Yep.
It is in the single digits, so we won't be hanging out outside today. We are gonna make bread.
Woo!
One of Jose's favorite things that I do is make bread. He loves bread.
I eat almost everything.
He does eat almost everything. This is very true. Every time I cook, I have to say, Jose, save some for tomorrow, because it is like a non-stop job around here.
Hey, today is today, tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to keep this guy fed, but he really does love bread and coffee in the mornings, and so I like to make bread for him. Today we are going to make one of my all-time favorites. I love dill. And when we were in Hawaii, working for a greenhouse there, we were bringing home so much dill that we had to figure out ways to use all of the dill we were bringing home. And one of the things we learned was how to make a dill bread. So some of the things, Jose, that I really like about this bread is that it's a savory bread with just a hint of sweetness. So you can use it for breakfast, you can use it for lunch, or even to go along with your dinner. Another thing that's great about this is a no-knead bread. We won't be doing any kneading, and if you make bread, you know that kneading takes a while. But it is a yeast bread, so you will have to give it time for the yeast to rise, which I never mind. And of course, once it's in the oven, all is forgotten, because the smell of fresh bread in the house is inspirational to me. I love it. We never can wait for it to come out of the oven. Let's first start with what the ingredients are going to be for this bread. So first we have to do our yeast mix, which is going to be 1/2 cup of warm water. And for your yeast, you want to heat your water to about 100 to 110 degrees. And then we're going to use 2 packages of active dry yeast. We are going to use a teaspoon of sugar. So then we're going to use 2 cups of small curd cottage cheese. This is 2% milk fat. And we're going to heat this up on the oven to about room temperature. I'm going to go ahead and get it started now because it takes a little while.
Dun, 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 dun. Music, please.
Okay, then the rest of the ingredients. We have 2.5 cups of regular flour and 2 cups of whole wheat flour for a total of 4.5 cups of flour. And then we have 3 tablespoons of sugar. The original recipe I was looking at called for 4 tablespoons, but I'm not a big sugar person, so I cut back by 1 tablespoon, which still leaves a pretty sweet bread. 2 tablespoons of butter. I have 2 teaspoons of salt here. And then you're going to have 2 eggs, and you're going to want to beat those eggs. I always, anytime I'm making a yeast bread though, I take my eggs out of the refrigerator early and let them come up to room temperature. Then we have 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and then 1/4 cup of minced onion. And the best part of this bread is 1/4 cup of dill. Now you're going to notice this is not an exact 1/4 cup. When I'm baking in the kitchen, I love fresh herbs and I love a lot of flavor. I never follow a recipe perfectly ever. Anytime it says to put a little bit of basil in there, I load up the basil. Anytime it says a little bit of dill, as a matter of fact, I think this recipe originally called for just 2 teaspoons of dill seed. I'm sorry, that is just not gonna work for me. I have to have fresh dill and a lot of it. So I put in extra fresh dill. Cannot wait for it to be done.
Yeah, me too.
So now we have the cottage cheese warming up in the oven. I'm gonna give that a quick stir. Okay, then I'm gonna ask Jose. Jose, can you put this in the microwave for 30 seconds, please?
Dun, 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 dun.
I always keep a handy dandy thermometer around. You may be able to tell or know if your water's at the right temperature. I like to just double check to make sure we're not killing our yeast, because to me, a good rise on your yeast bread is important. Has it been 30 seconds yet, Jose?
No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Jose, how's the water coming?
Good.
All right, let's check it out here. Okay, so we're gonna check it to make sure it's around 110 degrees.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, the yeast needs something yummy in its belly, so we're gonna put a teaspoon of sugar in there with it. Yep, yum is right. And then we're gonna open up these 2 packages of yeast. I'm always amazed the living organisms come in these little packages.
Another one?
Yep, both of them, please. Nice. Okay, so then we're gonna stir up the yeast.
Vamos a quedar la cámara.
And then we're gonna let it rise for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I always wait until it gets a nice foam on the head of it. So the cottage cheese is now lukewarm. I'm gonna dump it into this bowl. And the reason you want your cottage cheese lukewarm is because you don't want to kill off your yeast process once you have the yeast up to temperature. So we are gonna set this aside, and you can see the yeast is really nicely rising up there. So we're gonna give it a couple more minutes and let it continue to rise. In the meantime, we'll whisk up the eggs. Okay, so our yeast has a really nice head on it. Now you can see this.
Wow.
What you want to do then is put your yeast mix in with your cottage cheese. Then once this is mixed, yeah, exactly. I love the smell of yeast. I don't know why. Okay, once that's done, then you want to add in the rest of your ingredients, and you're just going to stir everything together. That's going to be 2 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so I forgot to mention that the butter needs to be melted, so we melted it. All right. And then the onions.
Onions, okay.
And the dill.
Dill. Ooh.
Oh, yummy. All right. Okay, I'm gonna stir these in, get everything good and mixed up, and then we're gonna put the flour in. First, we'll add in the whole wheat flour.
Everything, yep.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, perfect. Just get that a little bit mixed in. The one bad thing about my kitchen is that I do not have hardly any good mixing bowls. So that is next on the purchasing agenda, I think, because it's frustrating every time I go to cook stuff, I can barely get it in the bowls. Okay, so that's mixed in pretty good.
Wow.
All right, and then we want to dump in this other bowl of flour, Jose. Yep, nice and easy. So now we just want to mix all of the ingredients until the flour basically is wet. And I probably will end up using my hand, only because it's so much easier than using a wooden spoon. And I don't have I don't own a mixer, never really have. I like to just do things by hand. But if you've got a mixer, I would use that just to get everything mixed up. So we'll just set this aside for a minute, yeah. And then I'm just gonna stick my hand in here and mix this up. Try not to make a mess.
All right. Somebody have to do this.
Yeah, somebody's got to get that stuff out of the way. Thank you, Jose. So I have the bread all mixed up. It's going to be a little bit on the wetter side. It's not going to be a real dry bread. I'm going to move it over to this other bowl. I have to clean this bowl because I don't have another bowl to let it rise in. So I'm going to wash this bowl really quick, butter this bowl, and then we're going to put the bread in here to rise for an hour. Okay, so now I'm going to butter the inside of the bowl, and I had a little butter sitting to the side, getting up to room temperature. This just keeps the bread from sticking to the inside of the bowl. All right, so then you just want to set the bread down in here and roll it around a little bit so it gets that butter on it. All right, Jose, and then we're going to need one of those silicone lids. Okay, so then I just set the silicone lid on here, and we're going to set it over to the side here. I have a little heater going in here to keep it warm because our house is really cold in the winter and the bread would probably never want to rise. So I'm just going to set it over here near this little space heater that's going to keep the kitchen warmer.
Okay.
All right, and we are going to let that rise for 1 hour, and then we're going to come back, form 2 loaves, put it in the loaf pan, and let it rise again for another hour.
See you in an hour.
Finally, we were able to get rid of Jose for a few minutes.
I can hear you.
You're still in the house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going out to take care of the ducks, so we're going to do this next step with the bread on our own. So you want to remove the cover off the bread, and now you can see the bread has risen quite a bit. It's been an hour, by the way. So now we're going to just get the bread out of here. All right, and we are going to split it in half. Okay, and then once we do that, we're going to form it into 2 loaves. We are going to get it ready. And we are going to put it into these pre-greased bread pans. So I've just put a little bit of butter around the edges of it. All right, and then we are going to let it rise again for another hour, do its thing. Ooh, it smells good though. All right, put some covers on these. We got 1 and 2. All right, we have another hour of waiting. So while you're waiting, you need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And we're gonna go ahead and do that now. So the oven is nice and warm when we're ready to put the bread in. All right, so let's just see where we are. Ooh, yummy. These look really good. They're pretty much perfect inside of the pans. So now we need to put them in the oven. They need to go in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. I like my bread a little on the moist side, so I usually put it in a little less. Well, I usually put it in for the shorter amount of time, 40. All right, let's get them in the oven. Oh my God, the house smells incredible. Does it not?
Yep.
Are you ready for bread? Okay,
I'm ready. Okay.
We are going to pull the bread out of the oven, and it needs to sit for about 10 minutes in the pans to cool. Then we're going to take it out of the pans and brush it with some butter. So let's get them out of the ovens and just see how they look.
Look at that now.
Oh, smells so good. 1
Ooh.
and 2. Oh, those look incredible.
Wow.
Okay, so here are our loaves of bread. Okay, so we're going to let these cool for about 10 minutes just so they pull away from the edges of the pan. Then we're going to take them out. We're going to brush them with butter.
And then
Then we're probably going to have a slice. Don't you think? I can't wait. All right, Jose, let's let them cool off for a few minutes.
10 minutes. I'm ready. There's not my video.
Wow. Oh, Jose. Oh, I got my reading glasses on still. Okay, so these are ready. Let's scoot them over a little bit. The first thing you want to do is get them out of the pan. Alright, so there is one. Oh,
Ooh. Good. Mm.
and number 2. Yeah, don't let them fall, please. Okay. Okay, once they're out of the pan, we are going to coat the entire loaf with some melted butter. So we have melted butter here. And this just helps to give like a nice... You know, the recipe on this called to not only put butter, but to also salt. But we're not big salt eaters here on the homestead. So we don't very often add extra salt. And since the recipe had some salt in it, and butter, of course, is very salty. We did not do that. So, all right, this guy's done. So this is the first time Jose and I have made a cooking video here on this farmstead. The last one we made was in Hawaii. Do you remember what we cooked in Hawaii on camera, Jose?
It was pesto.
Oh yeah, we made pesto.
Yeah.
Oh, because we were getting so much basil.
Yeah.
The same place we were getting the dill from, we were just getting loads and loads of basil. So we learned how to make pesto for the first time. And I'm going to tell you right now, we will be growing a lot of basil on the farm because pesto freezes really nice. We'll put a link to that pesto video right here. And in that pesto, instead of using pine nuts, we used macadamia nuts. I'm not a big fan of pine nuts.
No?
Okay.
Okay, ta-ta-ta-ta.
Here we go. Usually I wouldn't cut into the bread when it's this hot. I would make it cool first. But for the purposes of television, we are going to cut into it and see how it is. Ooh, look at that, Jose. Nice. All right. And I have a little bit of butter left in here, so I'm going to spread this on here. Jose, I'm assuming you want a little bit of butter. Yeah. All right, there we go. We'll break this in half, and then we can share it. Oh, one of my favorite things. Oh, and it is hot, hot, hot.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Are you ready?
Uh-huh. Perfecto. Good.
Oh, it's so good. I think I could have put more dill. This bread is going to be really good for sandwiches.
Perfect.
And surprisingly, I didn't think that Jose would like this bread to drink with his coffee in the morning because it has onion in it. But Jose likes it no matter what. I feel a avocado and tomato sandwich coming on.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of fresh mustard. Oh, that's one of the things I want to learn how to make. If you know anybody who does good mustards, send us the recipe or send us the videos even better. Because I am a visual learner. I have to see somebody else do something and then I can do it.
Yep.
All right. I can't stop eating, but we have to close this video out. Okay, just a little more.
One more bite?
Here, you want a little bit more? You can eat mine. No, but not. Wait till the video's done.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I said wait.
Okay.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's video.
Yep.
We are going to hopefully be doing some more cooking videos in our kitchen, especially as the garden starts to produce. Right now, just what we're buying at the grocery store because that's all we have access to. But I'm very excited. Next week I'm going to try and do up a couple of loaves of honey oatmeal bread, which is also one of our favorites. So if you are a homesteader or a farmsteader, you live in the UP, you think Jose and I are somewhat entertaining, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel. Again, we are Mac.
And Jose.
And we are the Upper Farmsteaders. Thank you.
Thank you. And goodbye.
Jose, no! Bring the bread back here. You have to share with the rest of the family.